Hey you guys, just coming on here tonight, just talking to y'all. Well, it might not be night for y'all, it might be daytime for y'all, I don't know. It's nighttime for me. Evening time, if not. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just have a little conversation. Yeah, it's just like, do you just have those moments where it's like sometimes you just like, what's really going on with my life? Do you have those moments sometimes, like, where you're just like sitting there wondering, like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing the right thing? Is what I'm doing really worth it? Like, am I sacrificing for the right reasons? Or like, what am I doing things for, or the things that I'm doing, like, am I doing them for the right reasons? Like, you don't want to ever just do something just out of not to be able to not do something. Like, sometimes people can say you can have a fear of success. You've heard of that before, where you could just have like this fear of success, like things can be really going for you, really jumping for you, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get snatched right from under right from under your feet. Like somebody just pulled the rug from up under you. Like, wait a minute, what happened? Things were going good, I'm all of a sudden, boom. And it's like, sometimes you have those moments, like, okay, why did this happen? Like, things were going all right. I was doing this, I was doing that, I was working, and everything was just going fine. Then it's like, all of a sudden, one thing happens, one ball drops, and then you're like, okay, I tried to pick that ball up, but like another ball fell, and then like all the balls keep falling, right? And it's like, I can't carry all of them. I pick them up and I pick them up. You try to pick them up, and it's like, okay, come on, God, like, what's going on here? Like, what's happening? You ever had those moments? Like, just be real. We all human. But like, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm doing what I feel is right. Helping, people helping me, I'm helping them. And it's like, but am I really doing the right thing? Am I over sacrificing? If that makes sense. Am I over helping? Yeah, am I over helping? Sometimes you wonder. Sometimes, like. And that is a thing. You can overhelp. You can overextend yourself, And some people some people don't go through that. I don't know. You might be different. You might not overextend yourself to people. You might not have that problem. But there are some of us that, are a little extra caring, a little extra nurturing for whatever reason, and you put people before you. And sometimes you do it too much, or I won't say too much, but you have trouble finding that balance, if I'll say. Of, when it's too much, or when it's, I won't say when it's not enough, or when it's too much, you have to find that balance, and figure out, okay, and you're running yourself in the ground, and you're like, okay, now, when is it going to be time for me to do what I need to do for me, and like, I'm doing all the things, and, I share my life out loud, but I'm doing all the things, providing for I know y'all hear my dog in the background, but I'm doing all the things, running my, business, and eventually it will be making more coins. It's making a little bit right now with the podcast and being an author and things like that, of course, but they're not enough to securely support me financially right now. But I know that they will, And the author expo, that's going well, we're getting, things are going well with that. It's coming along. I will say that everything is coming along. God's working things out, but it's like, still, it's like, I know I want to do more. I know I can do more. I know it's like, am I making the sacrifices, but am I making them should I be making all the sacrifices, or, yeah, should I be making all the sacrifices, or am I making the wrong sacrifices? Those are things to think about. Those are definitely things to think about. But I mean, I don't regret. I won't say that I regret that. Just, you have to figure out when things happen in your life. You wonder, okay, well, this happened because of that reason. This happened because of that reason. But sometimes things just happen, and you just have to figure them out. Like my last home position, that was going well till the hurricane happened. We had Hurricane Helene happen, and that's when that contract ended. So I mean, everything was going fine. So now just, got to get another contract going. And I was on one, and things happened with that. Some issues happened with that one, having to get a new computer and everything like that. And thankfully, I did get a new mini computer. I made a video showing that. But And I'm thankful for that, but still got to get another contract, another working contract. So, working on that. But things happen sometimes, unbeknownst to you. Sometimes they're out of your control, They're out of your control sometimes, but you still have to figure out some things and try to, find your way. And, excuse me, I'm going to pause this for a second. Well, yeah, I was interrupted by my dog, of course, like I said. So, anyway, but, like I said, you just have to find your groove and just, find your groove. Yeah. Okay, let's do this again. But yes, got distracted again, of course. And my life is full of distractions. It's another thing. Again, I'm trying to stay focused, trying to stay on my grind, like trying to stay motivated. And I do, for the most part, keep myself going. Obviously, I'm still here. I'm still doing things. And that's why I share a lot of the stuff that I do on my channel to keep people seeing that, I am out here relevant. I am out here trying to grow my business. I am doing something positive to help motivate somebody else that might be out there trying to do the same thing. That's why I share my story too. I share my story. Yeah, I'm a little out of breath because my dog, he did something he ain't supposed to do in here. Yeah. So I had to clean that up. But anyway, so but yeah, I share myself out. I share my life out loud and share my story to hopefully encourage someone else and motivate them to keep pushing and keep trying and keep fighting, because life, life is no joke. Life is not easy. It's not playing around with you. Like, that's why I keep fighting and trying to really just build myself, build my brand, build me, build my life again, rebuild. I'm really rebuilding. I'm in a rebuilding stage right now. Yeah, to be honest, I'm in a rebuilding stage. I've come up a lot, as far as doing things. I'm growing, healing, all those good things. I am. But life is still life, and, it's life. And one day is this, one day is that, 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that, But it's life, right? I mean, you can't dictate, how it's going to be exactly. You can't say, okay, well, I'm going to have the perfect life and this is what's going to go, how it's going to be, and da 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 da. No, it's not always going to be that way. It's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. It's not going to be that way all the time. I know people say, oh, life is what you make it and this and that and other. It is to a certain extent. But sometimes you can do all that you want to make it. And it might not necessarily go exactly how you want it, but I do know that if you keep on and keep on and keep on, that things will eventually work out the way you want them to. Like I was telling my son, he was having some trouble with school, and I was telling him, like, don't keep thinking, oh, if you say, that it's not going to work out, I'm not going to pass this class, it's a really hard class, or he's having some trouble in his computer class. Like, it's a really hard class, and I'm not understanding it, so I know I'm not going to do well. I know I'm not going to pass. And we had this conversation this morning, and so when I picked him up, and on the way, on the way to school, I'm usually in this clubhouse group called Resilient Black Women, and for authors, and where we usually having like motivational talks and different things like that. Everyone's talking about different things and encouraging one another. So he heard today's topic was about something about your adversities and how do you encourage yourself and things like that. And so he hears some of that with me, and on the car ride. So he heard, some of the stories and things the ladies were saying. And so, and I was telling him, I was like, my dog out there making all that noise. But I was telling him, I was like, you can't keep thinking like, oh, if you keep thinking, saying to yourself, oh, I'm not going to pass. It's not going to get better. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. No, it's not going to. You got to, now speaking into existence, you got to think positive. But if you keep having those negative thoughts and about everything or about how it's going to turn out, then no, just say, you're going to have a good, because he was like, well, I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to lie, excuse me. I said, well, just tell, I'm not telling you to lie to yourself, but just say, okay, I'm not going to have a good experience, or I'm not going to, you know, things like that. But don't just sit there and, oh, I'm not going to pass it. So he ended up, so when I picked him back up this evening, and he ended up running into an actual tutor for the computer class in the library, and spoke with him a little bit and everything. And he was even someone on his level that had ADHD, and my son is actually on the autism spectrum, and it's okay to share that. And he's in college, but so he he spoke with the man, and he was talking to him and gave him some helpful information. But basically, he was telling him, you know, my son was thinking like, oh, nobody's gonna help me, nobody's gonna understand me, because that's how he feels, you know, like nobody, you know, is gonna understand him on the spectrum, or, you know, his, you know, different issues and things like that. And I'm always trying to encourage him, tell him otherwise. And then lo and behold, God showed up and showed him that, hey, there is somebody else out there that's gonna understand you, that's gonna hear, you know, gonna listen, that's gonna see you for you. And he needed to see that. I guess he needed to see it from God, not just from mom telling him, you know. Sometimes, you know, we might not listen to someone right there in front of us telling them, someone there right personal telling us, you know, something that we know, but God will send a message through a perfect stranger sometimes in order for us to get the message. And that's how it happened today. And he got the message, and it worked out, you know, beautifully. So, you know, he got in the car and told me, and I was like, see, you know, and I was like, I know it worked out. So, you know, that lifted his spirits a little more about the situation, that he can try to just get through, you know, get through the rest of the semester and keep working on it, you know, and figure out, you know, the next move. But it did definitely lift him up out of the somber mood that he was in this morning when he first went to school. So I say all that to say this, you know, just you all, just, you know, and myself as well, keep fighting, keep pushing, you know, just doing the things that you know you need to do to survive in this life. And, you know, work hard, push yourself, you know, step outside your comfort zone. Like last night, and I'll try to show some clips once I get a chance, but I went to an event last night, a Black History Month event here, and I was in a room with the attorneys, senators, all, you know, congresswomen and men. James Brown's daughter was even there. You know, she lives in this area. I was in the room with those, you know, people. They're everyday people just like me and you. But, you know, to society, they're held at a, you know, higher esteem. And I know my situation, you know, so, but I'm saying, you know what, 2025, I'm not sitting around on the sidelines no more. I'm putting myself out there. I'm not just sitting around. I know I can go hard for what I need and what I want, and to make a better life for me. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm putting myself in rooms that I normally wouldn't go into. So I hope I encourage you all today to do the same thing, to keep pushing for yourself, and, you know, just keep fighting for yourself. And I'm doing this and almost 50. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So stay encouraged and just keep pushing. And until the next time, I'll see you.